Welcome back, folks, to Free My Pain Now with Dr. Matt Doduro. And today is episode 29. And we're late February. Where are we? February 20th today, right?
Yeah, 2/3 of the way.
Wow. February 2020. We've got Samuel and Dale with me today. Today is mostly just some updates for our listener. And some of you guys are probably getting sick of hearing this, but it is a growing movement. The stem cell machine is catching on and moving across the country like a wave. So, yeah, pretty exciting. Some big things this past week. Probably the number one thing that happened to me last week was I got invited to a mastermind seminar of 75 of the top medical providers, healthcare providers, and entrepreneurs. Was I saying that right? Yeah. To come into this summit that Dr. Josh Axe is putting together in Nashville, Tennessee. So it's the first part of April. And so I got invited. I was excited. And thanks to Elena Zubin, who she does a lot of work with Dr. Axe, and sent some of our little clips and videos and things that she's seen on YouTube to him. And she kind of recommended that I be one of those 75. So that's nice. We're starting to get some national exposure. Thanks to this podcast and my great producers here. And so that was cool. I was like, wow, yes. And I had to move some stuff around in my schedule and calendar, but it was worth going to see Dr. Axe. And we're going to be working, and he's really going to kind of help us streamline what our ideas are to change healthcare. And you guys have heard it. I mean, we've got 28 episodes, what we think we need to do in this country. And so that was cool. And I got to speak with his chief marketing officer after I filled out my application and sent it in. And his chief marketing officer is Dr. David Tohill. And he called me. He's like, look, is this thing really what you say, this stem cell machine? What do you mean here? And I explained to him that it's a lithotripsy device. And I go through my whole little elevator spiel. And he's like, do you know Dr. Axe has had back pain for 4 years? I'm like, no, I never knew that. He's like one of the premier, people seek his advice on alternative healthcare. He is like WebMD, but for alternative minded people. And he's really got a lot of wonderful content on there. But they said, he was actually he was getting ready for some type of competition, CrossFit competition, and was doing like a clean and jerk, and damaged his back and tore some ligaments. And I was like, wow. So he said, like, maybe you come up a day early and you treat Dr. Axe. I'm like, oh yeah, man, that would be awesome. Josh Axe is obviously nationally and internationally renowned chiropractor and naturopathic advisor or doctor, and also co-founder of Ancient Nutrition, which is huge. They have bone broth and collagen in Costco, Target, and Whole Foods. So they have, some of the top companies in the country that are using their products. So it was pretty cool. So he's like, I said, sure, I'll come up a day early. I was flying last week to do an interview at CalJam, which is one of the largest chiropractic conventions on the West Coast, and it was in Costa Mesa. And I was being interviewed live by the Chiro Hustle team. So I go out there on Friday, and I get to this thing and I see who's on the main stage, and Dr. Axe was speaking that day. I was like, whoa, Dr. Axe is in town. We're in the same hotel possibly. So I sent David Tohill a little note and said, hey, I'm here. I got the device. Maybe you guys would like to bring Dr. Josh down. And he was like, we're finishing lunch. We'll see you in 45 minutes. Boom. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So first off, I get to meet, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is Josh.
You just hold it up there. Yeah.
That's him. And he's a lot taller than me.
It went down small again.
Oh.
It's all right.
So he's a beast. He's a big guy. So yeah, I got to work on him, and this is really the picture of us treating him. No videos. It was very top secret. He's got like a special team of Secret Service around him. But they did allow us to take a couple pictures. And so you don't know, right? You don't know what's going to happen. And I gave him the same kind of discharge notice that I give everyone. Listen, the next 15 hours, you're going to see the most amount of reduction in swelling, decrease in pain, and you should have improvement in range of motion in that area. I said, one visit doesn't fix everything. It starts the healing process and it activates this cascade of biological effects that are positive. So, he was intrigued, and that was it. Gone. Boom. They move out, right? Like President Obama coming in and out. And so, I sent a note to his chief marketing officer the next day, just say, hey, how's he doing? What's going on? This morning, I wake up and I've got a message from Dr. Josh Axe. I can even pull it up. It's pretty cool because he's been suffering for 4 years. And he said to me, hey, Matt, sorry for the delay. I was on vacation and I was without my phone. I noticed a small improvement and would love to continue to use this machine to see how I'd improve. And I'm like, that's a good sign, Doc. Because when we run this over normal tissue, there's no pain. From a diagnostic point, we like to be able to scan an area, map it out, find out. The more pain, and Samuel knows, no, Dale had it done last week. Dale, our videographer here. Dale, what did you think? Can you sneak in there?
Yeah, it hurt a lot at first.
We have pictures of you.
Yeah, and then afterwards, after the fact, the pain was down tremendously. I was able to move my shoulder and neck and everything. I was like, it was wild.
It is wild. And in the little bit of discomfort that you go through for those 2 or 3 minutes are worth it, right?
Oh, very much so, yeah.
And I was proving, I think we put the stop clock on you. And I said, look, you give me 10 minutes. I'm going to be able to detect the areas of inflammation, locate the true source of pain, and start the healing process.
Yeah,
I think we did it in 8.
We were under the mark. We did really well.
Yes. Well, it was good. You didn't whine. So that was a good thing. And this is what I responded to Dr. Axe. So that's his thing. I said, that's a good sign. The key in this is we're able to locate a couple tender spots when I had it in the diagnostic mode on you while we were scanning over your low back. And the more discomfort you have during the scan, which he had about an 8, the better outcomes. And that's a good thing, Dale, that you were able to see that pain. So we're getting ready. We're going to go up there, and his wife, Chelsea, is a chiropractor, so I'm going to train her, and they're going to have it for a few weeks and use it on their friends and family. And he doesn't have a brick and mortar clinic anymore, but he's got a huge team around that work for drjoshaxe.com. So we'll be able to use it. And I mean, that's he's one of the top guys in healthcare to be able. He's been on the Dr. Oz show 8 times, has his own PBS special. So, he has literally, for the last few years, he has had hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of medical devices and tools, and and nothing has helped him get to the point where he needs to. So this could be a huge, huge breakthrough for the stem cell machine, and getting a national spotlight. Well, I was in Southern California. I also did 6 demonstrations around the area. And once again, we got a wonderful response. We were down with Dr. Carrie Young in San Juan Capistrano, California. Beautiful clinic at Young Wellness Center. And we worked on this young lady. Her name is Tiffany. And Tiffany, let's see if I have her picture. Tiffany was pretty ecstatic. This is her. And she said, no pain, I'm pretty amazed. You can go to our YouTube channel, freemypainnow.com, and see her interview before her session and how difficult it was for her to kind of bend down to unload the dishwasher, just like every other mom, super mom out there that's, running a household, working, taking care of children. But getting in the car, the way she twisted and spun her body aggravated it. And so, 14 months she'd been in pain. So you can see the videos. And then you see her interview, then we do the treatment, and then we have her get off the table. We film them right getting up. And she was just like, and I said, okay, now do those motions that hurt. And the nice thing is they hurt every time they do them. So she goes down, bends down. She's like, what? And I said, pretend like you're getting in out of the car. So she does that. She's like, oh, I am pretty amazed. I said, okay, now walk down the hallway and do like a squat. And as she's walking to the door, she turns around, she goes, I was starting to doubt you. Because again, there are some big claims made with this device. And, you know, her tagline was, she should be skeptic. And they all should. Dr. Oz should be, or Dr. Axe should be as well, right? I mean, they've been, every person is touting themselves as the next, best expert, and so you don't know who to trust sometimes. And people ask me, how is your device different? Well, my device is different because look at the results that we get. I mean, every week we get different types of what would be considered medical miracles, but we're happening every week in one of these TRT centers across the country. So on our next episode, we'll talk about what's the second half of February. All right, welcome back, folks, to Free My Pain Now with Dr. Matt Doduro. And we were talking about earlier, we live in an extremely skeptic time. I acknowledge that everyone is running around touting the next best thing. It's becoming harder and harder to know who to trust, who to turn to. I think the patients want an expert. And the nice thing about what we've been doing in our clinic for the last 25 years is we've getting results, right? Patients don't necessarily, they want to know that you're going to be in their corner and fight for them and fighting for the best possible results and really getting the most efficient and effective results, meaning that where they spend the least amount of money and you're least invasive. So you said something, Samuel, that what did you say before we broke?
Yeah, so we were talking in the first segment. Dr. Axe had back pain.
Mm-hmm.
The TRT machine's great for back pain, right?
Sure.
But I mean, I think it's important for listeners and viewers to know the gamut of conditions and symptoms that this thing can help with. And you pulled out your notes.
Yeah.
So how did that list come together?
This came together because a marketing group was like, well, what does this really work for? So, it works for everything but hair regrowth and psoriasis. That's what we kind of figured out. Everything else, anywhere that you have pain and inflammation, this will help decrease those both and help improve circulation. So, so certain things like, we'll go with the highest ones, neck pain and whiplash. There's over 60 million people in the country that suffer from this. And we're doing some extremely effective treatments on patients who've been in car accidents here in Atlanta and getting some wonderful referrals from lawyers because we have the lawyers come in too. Just like we've had you guys come in to experience the stem cell machine, we're actually having patients come in to see it as well. Low back pain. There's 31 million people that are right now suffering from low back pain. 80% of the population will suffer from it. And remember, this is an alternative. The advantage is non-invasive, avoid surgery, avoid cortisone injections. There's a low associated complications or risk with this. There's a very flat learning curve. You run it over normal tissue, no pain. You're in the wrong area. Go to the area of pain. Oh, you're there. It's cost effective, easy to use. And it's really the standard of care in Europe before they even inject cortisone or medication or anything. So some other big conditions that helps is erectile dysfunction. They have over 30 million people suffer from that nationally. Some of the other big ones are, this is wild. I met with a plastic surgeon out in Beverly Hills who is using it on painful outbreaks of herpes for some of these stars out there. Apparently that's big out there. Chronic infections, we see that as the future. There's over 133 million people. We saw the story of Mr. Cobb who had the infected LVAD machine. Nocturia, which is frequent nighttime urination. Over 50 million gentlemen suffer from that in the United States. Men's and women's sexual health issues. There's another 50 million. You know, spinal cord injuries, 5.6 million in the United States suffer from this. Golfer's elbow, tennis elbow. There's about 7 million people who have issues with their elbows. Non-healing fractures, there's about 8 million people. As you know, we just got class 2 clearance for diabetic ulcers and wounds. So Medicare will be covering this in the near future. We'll have a billable code that we can have. And I think we did say spinal cord injuries, 5.6 million people in the United States. And then we have plantar fasciitis, which is about 2 million people. And this is really effective for that. And then obviously what we've been working with here in the Southeast is neuropathy. That includes chemo-induced peripheral neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy, or just regular peripheral neuropathy. That means anything off your spinal cord. And again, that's 30 million people that suffer from that. So there's a lot of different things that we've seen clinically that's been working with.
And these people could potentially be missing what is the best treatment option for them.
Right. And let's not forget, like, the opioid epidemic. Maybe what happens is after surgery, these people are sore and very painful. They are prescribed these strong narcotics and opioids. And typically within 2 or 3 days, you have to start weaning yourself off. If you're not asking your doctor, Doc, what is my exit strategy on this? Am I just taking it for the first day and then I'm cutting it in half the second day and I'm off at the third day? Because that third day is really the make or break when people can become addicted. And it's a lot harder to get off those opioids than it is any other meds. So, you know, it's crazy. There's I didn't really tell you I was going to break this news today on our show, but Chiro Hustle, that wonderful group that that I was interviewed on a couple times, and we were out there in CalJam for a live interview. They were kind enough to recommend us for a piece that is going to be possibly featured in Forbes magazine or Inc., I think it is. And they were looking for entrepreneurial medical providers. That is a tough word for me, I know. And they have nominated me to do a story on me. So I spoke with the one of the writers, and we pitched what we've been doing here with the podcast and how we're getting out to the community. And the stem cell machine, they like it. I sent them some interviews, and it looks like we're on. She posted it on her Facebook page today.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it all started in this little studio in downtown Buckhead. And then the other big thing, wow, I'm so excited about this. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 things we're going, but the probably the coolest thing is we've been invited up to the Pentagon on March 13th. And we are going to be demoing our model to a team of doctors up there that are very influential and oversee all new technologies that get into the military hospitals and the VA hospitals. So we'll be doing that. I know it is Friday the 13th. I'll probably blow something up in the Pentagon. No, I will not. So take that off. Rewind that. But they are vetting us and have to go through all this stuff to get through. Wow. And yeah, so exciting, man. Some good stuff.
Yeah. Maybe the president will swing by. He's got some neck pain or something.
Oh, that guy's in perfect shape. Didn't you hear the last?
That's right.
He's in perfect
forgot.
shape.
How could I forget?
So it was pretty cool. Like, you know, every year I write some goals out in my January stuff, and you can see here. Like, I like to do what are my goals? What do I want to set up? And this is for 2020. And you can see I wrote through my stuff on January, but one of the things I noticed that I did for February, I mean, as I wrote on February, as I said, I had a goal. I wanted to treat Dr. X. Look at that.
And you did.
I did. Well, I have so far, and hopefully we'll get to move on to another level. But it's pretty cool how you write stuff down, there is a 30% more likelihood that it's going to happen. You know, it's one thing to put it in your mind, but it's another thing to write it down and put it out there and, you know, say it to your business partners, and you're crazy. You can't do that. Don't tell me what I can do. And we're getting it done. I mean, that's the thing.
Got to start working on March goals now.
Yeah, man, they've got Marches. We're filled till
we got a long February this year.
We do. Some really cool. We're gonna have future guests, and I'm sorry things didn't work out to have more guests this weekend. But we have Dr. Phil Nadeau out of Spokane, Washington, who's an osteopath, has one of the stem cell machines powered by TRT, and he is pretty amazing. He does this hydrodissection where he puts this needle into your fascia to split the fascia, which holds the muscles and tendons and stuff in there. And he uses a type of water that is injected with the ozone that he learned from Dr. Schallenberg, who was on episode 28. And then as they open up that ozone water, and they split that fascia and they separate different muscles and break up scar tissue. And then while the needle's still in there, it's like 18 inches, he hooks it up to ozone, and then he pumps the ozone gas right in between the fascia. So he is going to be one of our future episodes, and he will be through a Zoom meeting. So we'll have to get that. Yeah, so some good stuff going on. We will set our goals for March. You're right, Dale. We need to have them. And then other than that, I mean, we are just busy. We filmed 2 national TV spots. Well, they're going to be nationally spots yesterday in our clinic all day. So every doctor, every provider out there will be able to white label these commercials to use to get the word out in their communities, because now that's what it is, right? So we've partnered actually with Cox Media, which is cool. They're helping us with a high-level production team. It's going to be really high quality. I learned a lot about lighting yesterday and moving and how they want. I mean, you see the shots of our beautiful stem cell machine and how great it looks. So good stuff. I mean, that's really what we have for episode 29 today, folks. I mean, if you like what you're hearing, please share it with others. I mean, this is a good way for other people. Write a review. Good, better, bad. If you don't like the way I can't remember words, that's fine. But get it out there, share it, because it helps other people find this information. And people are searching. Our communities are very sick. And we may not own all the answers, but we can find the right doctors. We've developed that team. Thank you.